welcome back to the Intuitive Creators Podcast, the sacred space for creatives, visionaries, and wild-hearted beings who are done living by society's rules and ready to carve their own. I'm your host, Mandee Rose, artist, yogi, intuitive, and guide for your awakening journey. And today, I am bringing some fire. The episode is called Productivity is a Trend. Fight me. Yeah, I said it. Because I think the obsession with productivity has become one of the most toxic illusions in our culture. We've been sold the idea that our worth is somehow measured by how much we get done. That being busy is the same as being valuable. That rest is laziness. But what if that's all a lie? That's what we're going to unpack today. The cult that is productivity. Let's start by naming it. Productivity has become a cultural obsession. Scroll through Instagram or TikTok and you'll see a sea of morning routines, 5 a.m. clubs, grind harder mantras, and optimize every minute of your day hacks. It's presented like spirituality sometimes, like the highest virtue you could aspire to. But here's the problem. It keeps us trapped. Productivity has become a performance. It's no longer about what actually matters. It's about being seen doing a lot. We brag about how exhausted we are, like it's a badge of honor. It's not. It's burnout dressed up as achievement. Now, I want to share a personal story here. There was a season of my life, a very long season, might I add, where I thought I had to do everything. Teach yoga full-time, offer tarot readings, design on the side, create content, run retreats, all while marketing myself 24/7. From the outside, it looked impressive, but from the inside, I was crumbling. And the worst part, I still felt like I wasn't doing enough. That's the trap. Productivity is a moving finish line. No matter how much you do, it's never enough. I still fall into this category at times of like old behavioral patterns. So I want to make that really clear is that I'm also working through this same concept personally. And when I say season of my life, I really do mean it was like years and years of like this belief like I'm not doing enough. I still do that to this day, but I'm able to reframe it now, which has been very helpful. It's a slow, gradual progression of growth, right? But I appreciate any growth. Productivity as a trend and not truth. Here's where I'm going to say the controversial thing. Productivity is a trend. It's not timeless wisdom. It's not spiritual truth. It's not divine law. It's a fashion. Just like skinny jeans, fidget spinners, or oat milk lattes. Why, you might ask? Because societies profit from people who are always working. Think about it. Think about it, my friends. If you're exhausted, you buy more convenience. If you feel unworthy, you spend more money trying to fix yourself. If you're always busy, you don't have the energy to question the system. That's not an accident. Productivity culture is capitalism's favorite costume. And when you really zoom out, you see it. The productivity obsession is not about growth. It's about control. It keeps us focused on output instead of being. Spiritual wisdom on rest. Let's take a little bit of a break here and kind of talk about the opposite of what productivity is trying to push. Let's bring back ourselves to spirituality and energy. You already know, if you listen to this podcast and all the episodes, I tie in a spiritual or energetic concept within it. The seasons show us a natural rhythm. Winter is rest, spring is growth, summer is expansion, fall is release. But productivity culture pretends it's always summer, always harvest, always output. Think about it. In yoga, we honor Savasana, the resting pose, as sacred. It's not an afterthought, it's integration. In meditation, the stillness is where wisdom drops. Even in the Bible, creation is followed by rest. There are indicators that these things are sacred to us. We just have to find them and integrate that into our daily lives. So rest is not lazy. Rest is spiritual. Rest is where the soul recalibrates, the nervous system repairs, and creativity is born. So when we glorify constant productivity, we are literally rejecting the wisdom of nature, the body, and spirit. So why do we feel guilty for resting? Okay, so if we know rest is natural, why does it feel so damn hard? Because guilt has been programmed into us. I feel the same way. I'm here with you, my friends. We were praised as kids for being good helpers, hard workers, overachievers. We internalized that love equals output. Rest feels uncomfortable because it challenges that conditioning. And when you finally sit down, that little voice creeps in. You should be doing more. But here's the truth. That voice is not your soul. It's programming. It's the echo of productivity culture whispering lies. Your worth has never been tied to your to-do list. The feminine and flow perspective. Let's talk energy for this one. Productivity culture is hyper-masculine energy. Linear, logical, output-driven. But creativity, intuition, and spirituality thrive in the feminine. Flow, cycles, and receptivity. When we push ourselves into constant productivity, we block the feminine. We block pleasure, play, rest, and intuition. And the irony? Those are the exact states where the best ideas, the breakthroughs, and the deepest healing happen. So let me add a personal story in here. Couple extras for this episode, just for you. My most powerful downloads, whether for art, business, or teaching, have come in stillness, on walks, in meditation, or literally lying on the floor, not in front of a laptop at 2 a.m. So honestly, it's when I'm in the shower, I get brilliant ideas. It's when I'm on a hike, I get brilliant ideas. It's when I am giving into my own needs and I'm playing within my passions, my hobbies, all of those things. So it's not within me pushing and doing a bunch of tasks every single day. My ideas don't come through during those times because of what I'm talking about. So if you've ever felt guilty for not doing enough, let this be your reminder. Your beingness creates more magic than your busyness ever will. Flipping productivity on its head. Oh, we finally got to my favorite part. So how do we reframe productivity in a soul-led way? Here's what I invite you to try. Instead of asking, how much did I get done today? Ask, how did I feel while moving through my day? Instead of tracking output, track alignment. Instead of hustling, practice devotion, showing up from love and not lack. Soul-led productivity feels different. It's not about the endless grind. It's about channeling your energy into what truly matters. So these three things I think are really important. The first one is asking yourself something. So being introspective, which is very feminine, but also leaning more into, how does this feel? How does it feel? It's going to be a different answer. Instead of tracking the output, track alignment. So when I think of this one, I think of when I'm looking through and analyzing my day, I'm not looking at numbers or what it is I did. I'm looking at the things that I did that are completely in alignment with my goals, with what I'm trying to create and, ultimately, yes, achieve. So thinking about, is this aligned? Is this task aligned to me, my values, and my goals? And then the last part, right? Instead of hustling, practice devotion. Devotion is slow. It's mindful. It's intentional, right? So showing up from a place of love and fulfillment rather than lack, like you don't have enough. So that means rest is productive. Saying no is productive. Joy is productive. Creating from soul, not obligation, is the highest productivity. Now, these are things that you can reframe over time. Like, it's not going to happen overnight, obviously. If only that could really happen in real life. But these things can be when you grasp that moment of, oh, I'm doing it again. I'm having that voice talk to me in a very negative way, and it doesn't make me feel aligned. It doesn't make me feel whole. It doesn't make me feel like I know what I'm doing, right? So play, rest, pleasure, yes, all of those things every single day, as much as you possibly can. So I'm going to give you practical practices for deconditioning this. If you listen to this podcast often, then you know that I'm all about giving practical advice. I'm all about giving tangible things that you can integrate, because it's cool that we can talk about the concepts, but at the end of the day, you need to have a really good idea as to how to attack or to progress into whatever this thing is, or to just work on it in general. So let me give you a few practices to work with. Redefine success. Write a new definition of success that has nothing to do with output. So an example of this would be, success for me is feeling aligned, nourished, and creative. Now, if you say this out loud to your friends, they might completely question this, and that's fine. We're talking about something that's conditioned deeply within us as a society. So this is something that you can share with yourself. If you have somebody that is in your life that you absolutely know would understand what that means, then share it. Absolutely share it. Sacred pause ritual. Now, rituals can be really anything, like literally anything. But in this one particularly, once a day, stop and do nothing for 5 minutes. Notice what arises. I do this one pretty often. If I have a moment where I'm like, what am I doing? My mind's racing. Just take 5 minutes. You're going to sit and do nothing for 5 whole minutes. And you know what? Sometimes I get tired. And then I'm like, oh, I need a nap. And I will say, I have not always listened to that, okay? I can be stubborn at times. I've said, no, I got stuff to do. But when I have given into it, taken a nap, I feel so much better afterwards. I feel grounded and just calm, really calm. Another great one is energy inventory. I love this one. So list the activities that drain you, and then on the flip side, the ones that light you up. Cut one drain, add one joy this week. So cut one of the things from the first list, things that drain you, and then add one of the joys, one of the things that lights you up, into your week. And that's a really great, small, digestible way to work towards progress. An affirmation for this one, I love affirmations. If you know, you know. I am worthy even when I rest. My being is enough. It's a really good one. And you can make up your own. You can look some up. Whatever really resonates with you, really speaks to you. That can be something you say out loud when you have moments of anxiety or just feeling like you have no control. And the last one is a seasonal rhythm. So tune your schedule to nature's cycles. Allow yourself to rest more in winter, create in spring, expand in summer, and release in fall. So the time that this episode is going to air, it will be fall. And so I want to also dedicate some episodes to the idea of this. So there would be 4 separate ones. I'll probably do it as a series where we're talking more about things that are really helpful for winter, spring, summer, and fall. So if you're interested in that, please leave a comment down below and let me know, and I'll make that. So I want to take a few moments to really talk about this in personal terms. I've kind of talked about some personal stories, but I'm going to be honest, I am a recovering workaholic. I will be fully transparent. I have had times where I will work 70 hours a week, and half the time I didn't even know why I was doing it, if I'm being completely honest. But within that, I feel like it's important to recognize where that can be really toxic, because I was speaking to myself in that way of like, you're not doing enough. You're not doing enough. What are you doing right now that's so productive? Like, I really just want to stay away from those things now that I've understood this concept. And I realize that this is a controversial view. And what sparked this idea for this episode and just talking about it in general is I see this a ton on social media. I first started seeing it mostly on, I want to say YouTube, and then I started really seeing it on Instagram and TikTok more specifically. I'm just tired of seeing that because it makes me feel bad about myself. And even if that influencer or that creator or that person is not doing that intentionally, that is what is happening. I don't want to hold any of that against anybody in particular. I can't speak to the intentions of somebody that I've never met in real life. But I will say this, I have unfollowed creators and influencers and YouTubers because I felt like they were doing that as a way to keep followers and keep people interested. That's not interesting to me. I just don't resonate with that. I'm very picky these days as to who I follow because I want to be more consciously aware of what I'm consuming on the internet. And I think that because it's 2025, that is super important as a practice. even more so than just taking, some digital detoxes every once in a while. Like, we really need to be more mindful as to the content we are consuming, especially these days with AI, So here's the mic drop. Productivity is a trend. Your soul is timeless. One day, hustle culture will be replaced by something else. But your spirit, your energy, your creativity, that's eternal. You don't have to measure your worth by your output. You are already enough. And when you live that truth, your creativity will not just survive, it will thrive. Thank you for tuning into today's fiery episode of the Intuitive Creators Podcast. If this episode gave you a little sigh of relief or maybe a big exhale, please share it with someone who needs the reminder. Follow me on Instagram. I am Mandee Rose Artist, Mandee with 2 E's. And if you're loving this podcast, leave a review so more beautiful souls can find it. Until next time, rest like it's sacred, create like it's soul-led, and remember, your worth is not a trend.